Welcome to this week's episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in as little as 15 minutes to build your dream business. And now here's your host, the Visibility Wiz, Cindy J.
Hi, I'm Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and welcome to this episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in 15 minutes or less to build your business. And today our guest is Clara Rufai, and she's known as the Shine Strategist. She uses her work in various platforms to empower people to discover their own shine factor as they start, harness, identify, network, and express their brilliance so that they can travel on a more rewarding and personally fulfilling path in life. Welcome, Clara. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Cindy. It's pleasurable to be here.
Well, thank you very much. It's definitely all our pleasure. I just can't wait to share about the shine factor to our listeners. But before we share the shine factor, can you share a personal or business challenge that you had to overcome in order to achieve your level of success?
Oh, yes, I certainly can. And that's an easy one, actually, because I'll tell you this, of all the things that I do, and I express myself in so many different ways, but of all the things that I do, I think personally the most impactful is my podcast, the Shine Capsule podcast. And I will tell you why that was at one time a business or a personal challenge for me, because I have a day job as a legal practitioner. I work in the investment management field, and it's a very busy day job so that it takes a lot out of me. So when I was looking to go global, when I was looking to start building my brand, the one thing that I struggled with was time constraints. And so when I learned the fact that I could go digital, that I could be instead a digital influencer, that I could spread my influence faster by going digital, that for me was my way of overcoming what was a challenge. The challenge was time constraint. And the way that I overcame it was recognizing the fact that I could take technology, I could take, the digital power that was mine and actually use it to expand my voice so that now people hear me all over the world in my Shine Capsule podcast. So really for me, going digital is the way to go because it spreads your message way faster than anything else.
Very, very true. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And a time factor, because I know a lot of people, they're still working their 9-to-5 job and they're trying to build their business so that they can leave their 9-to-5 job. And it's really utilizing technology to save time. So I love that. Thank you. And so you're the Shine Strategist and you help people shine. So what is the shine factor?
I'll tell you, I'll start by telling you what the Shine philosophy is, because I am the creator, first and foremost, of the Shine philosophy. And the Shine philosophy is, I tell people it's not just a word, it's got a science to it, it's got it's got an art to it, and it's got strategies to it and steps as well. So the Shine philosophy is a strategy for living a purpose-driven life, first and foremost. You know why? Because it encourages you to look inward, right? To connect with who you are on the inside of you and to connect with that inner greatness that we all carry. But life happens somewhere along the line, and we all basically are currently living, most of us are living a fraction of who we really are. So the Shine philosophy, is a way of thinking, a way of behaving, a way of living that tells you to connect back to the greatness that's on the inside of you. And then from that place to reach out upward and outward to serve other people with your gifts, with your talents, and with your abilities. Now, I like to always say too that the Shine philosophy is something that enables, it's an enabling force. So that's what the Shine philosophy is. The Shine factor, however, is that gift, that talent, that hidden, that quality that's all yours, that makes you so unique different from everyone else. And if I ask you, for instance, what is, David, if I was to say Tiger Woods, what's his shine factor? You probably would tell me straight away it's golf.
Right.
So it's like that for everyone. Everyone has something that they do so effortlessly, and they shine when they do it, but somebody else might struggle with it. So that's what the shine philosophy is, in that it is a transformational ideology, if you like. It's based on the belief that as human beings, we are intentionally and deliberately created, and we are created to live our best lives and use all of our gifts and our callings to serve the world.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So basically, the shine factor is just utilizing your gifts to serve the world.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Shining the spotlight on your brilliance.
Yes, I love it. And I know also that you share with people that everybody has a story, but that
Mm-hmm.
our stories aren't really for us, but they're there for
Yes.
other people. So can you elaborate on that?
I surely can. Now, the thing is, and that's something that anybody who knows me will know me as saying all the time, that our stories are not for us, our stories are for other people. I truly believe that our stories are meant to connect us with those that we are called to serve.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what happens when you tell your story. And of course, I believe that everyone should unapologetically and boldly and proudly tell their stories.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not every story is all glam and glitz. Most stories, actually, almost every story will come with a scar. Somewhere along the line, there has to be a scar, because it's your scars that actually help you shine the best that you can shine. Now, when you don't shy away from those scars, you don't shy away from telling your story, you're in a very powerful position, because then you can use that story to serve others. Here's what happens when you tell your story: somebody will connect with it. The way that you tell it, the authenticity with which you tell it, the truthfulness with which you tell it, somebody somewhere will be either going through what you've gone through, will be experiencing what you've experienced in the past, and you are in fact their coach, their teacher, their enabler, and their inspirer in that moment. And you are
Right.
supposed to tell your story in such a way that they can connect. Hearing you, they can immediately connect, and then they respond. And when they respond, they become your target market, the way we like to say target market. But we think of target market as something you can monetize. Not necessarily so, not all the time. Your target market are the people that you are called to serve, whether there's money involved in it or not. So basically, your story, the more personal you make it, it helps you connect with other people, and then it advances your message, and it exposes, the value that you carry on the inside of you.
I love that you said your target market isn't just for the people who pay you. I've never heard anybody
Indeed.
say that before. As coaches, well, we say we want to help people. We want to help people, and sometimes people will forget about those people we're helping just by sharing our message. I used to be a divorce coach, and she sent me an email or a message on Facebook telling me how much I helped her grieve her divorce and move forward to a better, more positive life. But I've never once spoke to this woman in person. She just connected to me through what I was sharing online.
That's
And so, yeah, she was
amazing.
my target market. I was here to serve her. Yeah.
Indeed. There you go.
Yeah.
There
So,
you go.
yeah, so I love that. And I know with your stories too, sometimes people, we as humans, we like to put levels on trauma. So, so this trauma we think is worse than this trauma. So if somebody has like some of those so-called higher level traumas, um, how should they be sharing their story? Should they cut part of it out, or how deep should they go into their stories to really connect to people?
Well, that totally depends on the person's where they are in the process of grieving or in the process of that trauma, because quite often it's like it's on a scale. It totally, completely depends. I will share with you quickly something that happened to me that was very traumatic, and that's what actually started me on my shine journey.
Mm-hmm.
I lost two of my younger sisters on the same day in a terrible, terrible accident. And that trauma marked me for life. That I went into a spiraling wave of depression.
Right.
Now, if you were to ask me to try to share about that trauma in the first few months, even years that it happened, I wouldn't have been able to, because I was too caught up in my pity and in my hate and in my anger. And I went through a season, I tell people all the time, when I was really angry at God. And I was asking him, on your watch? Come on now, why would you let this happen on your watch? I was really, really angry with God. But guess what? That period of my life is also when I came to know God in the most intimate way. That's when I came to know that even when things were looking so bleak and so miserable, that's when he was carrying me in his arms. And it was a very special experience in which I came to know God in a special way. So here's what I'll say. The deeper you can go into the depths of your story, the depths of your of your grief, the depths of your trauma, the quicker you will heal. But some of us are not always able to proceed along that line as fast as everyone. So what I would say is, find a way to be true to yourself, to be authentic, depending on how strong you're feeling. As you get stronger and as you see it, start putting something out there into the universe. And as you see that people are connecting to you because of that pain, because of that, I have a special ministry for if you like, for ministering to people who have been bereaved, because I just kind of know what they're feeling and I can talk to them in a way that they know I'm connecting with them. So do what works for you, because being true to yourself, walking and operating in your own truth matters. So if you feel you can only tell a little, or you don't want to expose it all yet, that's okay. But look for safe spaces, safe people that you can absolutely be what I call emotionally naked with. Because it's easy for us to take off our clothes as human beings and be physically naked. But the trying part is when you're asked to be emotionally naked. There are people in relationships and in marriages that cannot, or that still struggle with being emotionally naked. They're still very covered up with their partners, but they can get naked physically. So if you're able to get emotionally naked with that one person or that close group of people that you can trust, then your healing begins to happen faster. That's what I think.
Very, very good. Love
Mm-hmm.
that. And going back to, again, the shine factor, can you share a few
Mm-hmm.
ways in which listeners can shine with their own story and with their own experiences?
Absolutely. Now, I think that the very first thing that we should be doing as human beings is, first of all, before you start to shine outward, you have to take root downward. So it's like taking root downward in order to bear fruit upward. If you're not fully rooted in yourself, as in you know yourself, this is why I talk about the shine factor as being something that must necessarily encompass, self-value, self-love, self-awareness even, and from that point, when you become aware of those things, you start wanting to, develop yourself. Self-development then comes because you feel like, I'm this worthy person, I'm this important person, I'm not on this in this atmosphere just to clutter up the landscape. I mean, I am somebody, I matter, I carry value, and that value is for the world to see and to experience. And then you start thinking thoughts of, I don't want to go to my grave. If anybody knows me, they know that my greatest fear is the fear of dying unsung. So you start telling yourself, I do not want to go to my grave with all of these gifts and all of these talents unused or unspent. So with the shine factor, when you start feeling that way, you find out that you start seeking out ways, you start seeking out platforms, you start seeking out, a place to stand, almost like a stage of your own, a podium where you can stand. You want to get off that treadmill of life where you're going through the motions and doing the same things all over and over again. You want to now, find your message, find your stage, find your people, that you're supposed to be serving, and you want to start sharing that message. So I do think that it's important to, first of all, know what your message is. Once you know what your message is, it kind of like a honing beacon, it kind of directs you to who needs that message, because those people are going to be calling out to you. When I first wrote my book, Prison Break, the kind of people that were reaching out to me were people who could connect with the fact that I was at that time frustrated with my 9 to 5 and feeling like I was in some kind of a shell, some kind of a prison. And at the time, I couldn't figure out how to start building this side of this side of me. There were so many things that I needed to express, so many aspects of me I wanted to express. And yet the only thing it seemed that life permitted me to express at that time was this, corporate lawyer who was working in a corporate office. And I resented that. I resented my employment and my job at that time for that reason. But I later came to find out that, the prison is not the four walls of the building. The prison was right here. I
Mm-hmm.
found out that the prison was right here. And the moment I escaped the prison of the mind, I gave myself freedom to just fly.
I love that.
So
You gave yourself freedom to fly. I love that. Yes.
freedom to fly. So that's what I really think is the key thing. They're
Mhm.
realizing that the daily battle is the battle within, and the greatest prison is the prison right up here. You win that battle and you escape this prison, there's nothing that you cannot achieve.
Right. And so, what are some of the first actions listeners should take in order to start shining today?
I love that. The shine in itself starts for, I'll tell you, S stands for start.
Hmm.
H is to harness. I is to identify, N is to network, and E is to express. So
Hmm.
quite often, even though the shine as a word, I think of it, we talk about it as meaning, that ability to soar higher into new expressions. So every day, in every way, you are striving to be a better version of yourself. You're striving to do better, whether it's in your relationships, in your career, or in your business. You are striving to do better, to reach for bit better. Now, in spite of that, people ask me, when you say reach for more, striving, what does that all mean? I mean, what are the steps that I need to take? And then I tell them, you need to start. Because as people would often say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. So there's loads of dreams that have gone to the grave because the people just didn't get started. Either they were clueless, they didn't ask themselves the right questions, or they didn't ask the right questions of the people who could help them. So the first thing is to start. Put pen to paper. Ask yourself, what's my why? Why do I even want the things I say I want? What's the way to get started? Put pen to paper. Then begin to harness. What are your skills, your gifts, your talents? What is it that you do really well? What is it that you've learned? Whether it's by formal training or by your experience, such as the experiences or such as the lessons that my trauma and my pain and my grief taught me way back then. So when you get all those things together, the next thing you want to do is identify, what do I do with them now? What can I create? How can I bring value out of this experience or out of this knowledge or out of this skill or talent that I have? And beyond that, how do I identify who needs this? So I've created this valuable thing, but if nobody wants it, then it's worthless all over again. So back to square one. No, that's not what you want. What you want is, I've created this valuable thing. Someone somewhere must need it. I need to now go and find them. Where are they? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Where do they hide out? Where do they hang out? And then you are going to look for your ideal market, your target, basically to connect them with this thing of value that you have created. And the other thing is network. Various types of networking. People think about networking in the, very basic sense of a big gathering. And you and I are networking right now.
Hmm.
People network online, people network in person. There are various ways of networking, and you can network in a collaborative manner that sort of says, we're all in this together. We can all grow, we can all glow, we can all shine, which is my ethos, that everybody has something great inside of them and everybody can bring something to the table. And then the next thing is express. Nobody lights a light and hides it. So if you are full of brightness, if you're shining, you want to express it. You couldn't even hide it if you wanted to, because your light not only lights your path, but it also illuminates the path for everyone around you, so that it gives permission for everyone to shine. Hey, come on, guys, use my light, shine by my light, see the way by my light. And then everybody is inspired by what you're doing, and they want to do what you're doing and even express themselves and express their message. So really the steps are all the steps are in the shine, S-H-I-N-E,
Hmm.
S for start, H for harness, I for identify, N for network, and E for express.
I love it. Thank you very, very much for sharing that with us. And I know that you have a strategy that our listeners can implement in 15 minutes or less in order to build their business. So can you share what that is, please?
I would call it, I'm not sure what to call it now. Let me just call it the personal powwow session. I'll call it that. And what it is basically is whenever you come across, and this applies for whether it's a personal problem or a business problem, whenever you come across a problem of any sort, right? What I recommend is to first sit down and go inward. Go inward to come back out with the solution. So what do I recommend? I recommend you sit down and you get a piece of paper. It could be my formal training as a lawyer, I don't know, but I do believe that writing is very important. So you get a piece of paper and you begin to write. What are the niggling doubts? What are the worries? What is it that's, that has you upset or unsettled or unsure or afraid? Whatever it is, write it down and write down the pros and the cons. What I usually advise is pick up a pen and start to write, and write for 5 minutes nonstop, everything that comes to your mind regarding that worry or that need or that lack or whatever it is. Just keep writing, negative, positive, it doesn't matter, just keep writing. And at the end of 5 minutes, necessarily, just put down everything that comes to mind. At the end of 5 minutes, look at what you've got and begin to separate them into pros and cons. When you do that, you'll find out probably that whilst you're doing that, you will see that the pros are canceling out the cons, and you will be able to then have this. That's why I call it a personal powwow session. You'll be able to have this conversation, I, me, and myself kind of conversation that tells you, well, if this is that, then surely I can address this way. If that is, you kind of reason it out, because I believe that the best counsel you can ever get is your own counsel. And I'm not saying that to discredit, mentors. I'm a mentor to many people myself. But the very first thing that you must do is to have faith in yourself enough to believe that the answers you need are on the inside of you. And you just need to bring them. You just need to tease them out. So you just need to go into that quiet place, have a cuppa or whatever it is, and just sit down, have a piece of paper, have a pen, and just write. Pour your thoughts down and then begin to distill or filter those thoughts. And then you will see clarity begin to come when you do that. I do that and it works perfectly for me. So that's what I would recommend.
I love that. Thank you very much. It's a fantastic strategy. And I know that you have an event coming up, and that you are graciously offering 5 complimentary tickets to the first 5 viewers that contact you and tell you that you've seen them on the Biz Success in 15 podcast. So can you share a little bit about your event and what the 5 lucky people will get whenever they grab this gift?
Indeed, thank you for letting me do this. It is called the Leap and Shine Conference. It's the first live conference we're doing. It's a global conference, and it's bringing together, global achievers, influencers, and thought leaders from around the world. I've got, speakers, some of my speakers coming in from the United States, some are coming in from Dubai, some are coming in from Nigeria, Africa. It's going to be amazing. It's in the city of London. But the Leap and Shine platform itself was first launched in November of 2016, and every year since then it's held as a virtual summit for the very, very first time, and this is the next level for me, and I'm so excited. For the very first time we're going live with it, and it's happening in the city of London. It's a 2-day fiesta. The day one will be the main conference of speaking and discussions and knowledge transfer. And day 2 is the Dinner Gala Awards, where we are launching the Shine Legacy Awards. And the stars will come out to play, basically, because we're going to be, recognizing and honoring about 20 amazing Shine stars, as we call them, in various categories. And it's going to be an amazing night. And so I would like to offer your viewers an opportunity. It's a hybrid event, obviously. And if you can't be with us in person in the City of London, then you can definitely join us online. So I'd like to offer your viewers 5 tickets to join us online. I promise you, we've got an amazing, menu planned, and you're going to feel like you are in the room with us. So for the first 5 people who will reach out to me, right, and say, I'm in, and just say what you said, basically, I saw you on Cindy's podcast and I would like one of those free tickets. I will then email you back with a special code, which you will use to access the ticketing section of the website. We have a dedicated website, www.leapandshineconference.com. You go on the website, you enter in that code, it knocks off the price for you, and you get in the room free. And I promise you, your life will never be the same, because we know the value that we're bringing into that room.
I love it. Thank you very much. And then I know that you also have a gift, a free gift for everybody. So can you share a little bit about it?
Yes, that is my Shine Assessment audio guide, because the very first step in the Shine philosophy is to start. So that basically covers that, because way too many people have asked me, how do you start? What does it mean? And I've tried to distill that into that audio. So it's a guide that basically sits you down and has you go through step by step until you can come out the other end being clear about what your shine factor is and what you need to then do to take things forward from there. So that basically covers the first step of the shine philosophy, which is to start. It's a shine assessment, because you have to first assess who you are and what you're bringing into the world and bringing to the table before you start talking about how you can harness it and how you can sell it, market it, monetize it, and all of those other things that all the gurus will tell you about. You've got to first start.
To our listeners, to grab your complimentary Shine Factor assessment, you'll want to head on over to bizsuccessin15.com. That's BIZ success in the number 15.com/Clara, all lowercase CLARA. And you can grab your Shine Factor assessment there. You'll also be able to click a link to go directly to Clara's contact page. So if you want to claim your free ticket to the Leap and Shine conference, then you can just click on that link, hop it over there and say, hey, Clara, I'd love a complimentary ticket. I seen you on Cindy's podcast, and the first lucky 5 people will be able to get it online for free, and that's an awesome, awesome gift. And so, Clara, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
My favorite, which is exactly the same thing I say to everyone who listens to my Shine Capsule podcast. And they are these words: don't let anything or anyone dull your shine. You have a responsibility to answer your shine call, as I call it. You have a mandate to shine. It's a license, it's interwoven, it's in your DNA. So this is what I say to everybody, and I say at the end of every podcast, I say, don't let anything or anyone dull your shine.
I love it. Don't let anything or anyone dull your shine. Thank you, Clara. It's really been a pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you. Thank you. I've had fun. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're very, very welcome. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's show, feel free to share it with your friends. The more people that have the shine factor, the happier and more peaceful this world will be. And and you want to hop on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Clara, and you're going to find all links from today's show. You'll be able to re-listen to Clara's words of wisdom and catch up on past episodes that you might have missed. And while you're there, you definitely want to grab your Shine Factor assessment. Also, there'll be a link there for you to contact Clara about getting a complimentary ticket to the Leap and Shine conference. And so I hope you have a fantastic week, and be sure to tune in next week with another amazing guest.
Thank you, Cindy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Biz Success in 15. For all links mentioned in today's show and to watch or listen to previous episodes, visit bizsuccessin15.com. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for another amazing guest.